And welcome to another episode of RC Pit Stop. Today we are in the pits once again with my Kraton 6S. And don't worry, there's nothing wrong with the truck. It needs a bit of a clean, a bit of maintenance, and I'm actually going to be giving it a fresh new look and a new power system. Now, why am I changing power systems? Because if you guys have been following the channel, you know that my rival has recently received a Tiken system into it, and I'm actually very happy with that system. I'm loving the way that truck performs, and the system that I had in it was not in fact the stock system. I had a very hyped up 6S system that I'm thinking of throwing in here. Well, not just thinking, I'm actually going to do it. The motor that I had in the rival was this guy right here, which is a 2000 kV 4082 Leopard motor. This is a very good motor, and it's much bigger than the stock motor that comes in the ARRMA RCs. And I found that it just had a lot of speed, a lot of revs for the rival. The rival wasn't really designed for high-end speeds. It's a big high center of gravity monster truck, and it just deserves to have more torque. Hence the reason why I went with the Tiken system. So I think this will be a much better suited motor for this particular truck, and that's what I'm going to go with. As for the ESC, I am running the Hobbywing Xerun 150 amp ESC, which I've been using now in the rival for well over a year, I think, and it's been a very strong performer. And I know a lot of people have always had, good feedback about these ESCs. They've had good experiences with them. So they come very highly recommended, and I think this combo is, it's going to be solid as a rock. I wouldn't have any problems with it. So for the body, I'm going to be changing out the body as well. This guy's had his fair share of bash days. It's got a crack over here. It's all scratched up, dinted. Stickers are coming off. The back's kind of ripped up a little bit as well. And yes, I do perform magic on my days off. You can see my body clips are staying stuck to the body. No, not really. I have a magnet underneath, sticker taped to the underside of the body. You buy these magnets off eBay, I think for about $15 or $20. Just type in rare earth magnets, search them up, you buy the size you want and how many you want, and then hey presto. That way I don't lose my body pins when I'm changing out batteries, which I have done in the past many times. So the body that I'm going for, believe it or not, is another stock body. Don't really have too much of an issue with these bodies, and I kind of want to give this one a fresh sort of look, because pre-painted bodies from ARRMA, well, they only have the green ones. Well, at least I know they've got the blue ones now, which would be really nice to have one of those as well, but I kind of want to do my own thing and paint it up, and I think it'll look pretty good once I put all the stickers on it and kind of decide what I'm going to do with this guy. We'll soon see how it all turns out. Now the ESC has already been taken out of the truck because this is actually the Talion ESC. I kind of did a bit of a swap to try and get Talion over 100 k's an hour, and it was very successful. There's really nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to see if maybe the ESC had an issue, and I think at the end of the day it just came down to tires. I just couldn't get the speed out of the Truggy that I wanted. I just didn't have the right tires on, but I think the ESC is totally fine, and so is the motor. And I've already got kind of earmarked where I'm going to use this combo, and if you guys follow the channel, you know where I'm probably going to use this combo. It's going to come in real handy on that particular RC that I have in mind. Now, before I do any of these changes, one of the things that I really want to do to this truck, aside from giving it a good old-fashioned clean, because it is all sort of dirty and messy, is I want to rebuild my diffs. I'm going to go with 100,000 weight oil in the rear, 500,000 weight in the center, and another 100,000 in the front. I find that these trucks, they do come pretty well balanced out of the box, but you do bleed a lot of power to the front wheels, and I want a little bit more evenly distributed power. So I think 500,000 weight in the center is going to work out well, because I've used this kind of combination in my other RCs, my ST4, I've done that with. I did it on my rival as well, and I think I did it on my Basher MT from Hobby King. And it always works. It seems to be just a nice combo. Just for general bashing, you tend to have a lot more responsiveness out of the RC, and it becomes a little bit more lively. It does make it a little bit tricky to control at times, but certainly a lot more fun, and that is what this hobby is all about. So enough chitter chatter, let's get to work. I need to start pulling all of this apart and yeah, then I'll sort of come back a little bit and show you what I'm up to. And yeah, I think it'll be really cool to have this guy all rebuilt and redone and ready for another bash session. Alright guys, just giving you a bit of a quick update on what's been going on with the truck. Now I know it looks like nothing has been changed, but I can assure you I've actually rebuilt my entire rear end. I did have to deal with a couple of issues here that I wanted to sort of deal with off camera. I will show you the guts of the center diff and the front diff when I get to them. But this one here has been fully rebuilt. It's got now 100,000 weight diff oil in it and ready to go. My rear shock tower was a little bit bent, so I had to fix that up. The way I do it, and it may not be the best way, I know there's probably other methods, I usually just take the shock tower out, lay it down on some nice smooth concrete and just hit it with a hammer until it straightens up. That usually does the trick. It does end up a little bit scratched, but who cares, it's a basher vehicle, and you don't really see much of the shock tower anyway, so I'm all good. So that's how I do it. Now I did find a couple of other issues that I wasn't aware that were actually a problem. One of them being that I blew out one of my shock caps. That's the shock cap there, that's just a little bit that came out of it. You can see how it's gone straight through the actual shock shaft. I don't know when this happened exactly, but I'm assuming sometime during the last bash session. Maybe they're taking that great big jump over at the BMX track. The piston has just, yeah, broken off. Now, rather than ordering a new one from ARRMA, what I did is I cannibalized one of my spare shocks. This one here is from my Duratrax 835E that's been sitting in the drawer for many months, and you can see it's got a bent shock shaft. So I took the piston out of that and fitted it straight into there. Turns out they're exactly the same diameter. They've got the same holes and same size holes, and both shocks feel exactly the same. So very happy to have that on hand. Chances I'll probably get some other bits and pieces out of this shock at some point. Who knows? So that has been fixed. One last thing that I did find that I wasn't aware of was that, you know, as I was putting the rear end back together, I noticed that this arm here was sitting up a little bit higher than this arm. And I figured, okay, well, maybe I just need to undo my droop screw a little bit in there and the arm will drop. I kept undoing the screw, half a turn, 1 turn, 2 turns, and the arm stayed exactly where it was. I thought, oh, something is going on. So I had a look underneath, and as it turns out, on the chassis, sorry, a little bit off camera there. Let me bring it up here so you guys can see a bit better. So this little sort of wing here on the chassis had actually copped a knock, and it was bent upwards. So it was hitting the bottom end of the A-arm, and of course, no matter how much I undid that droop screw, this was stopping the A-arm from coming down. And what I had to do is take out the rear section of the truck, again, hit it with the hammer and straighten it out. The good thing is you only need 5 screws to remove the entire rear end of this truck. There are 4 here that hold the diff casing in place, and then there's another one just there, the very first one out from the diff. That one there holds this plastic brace, chassis brace that's here. So you take out 5 screws and the entire rear end just comes clean off. And yeah, I was able to straighten this guy up without any problems at all, which is very, very good. So that is where I'm up to with the truck so far. Giving it a clean, remove the side stickers from the wing. Everything's ready to go here. Now I'm going to move on to the center diff. I will show you the guts of the center diff. I want to show you what these diffs look like inside, because I know some of you may be curious. And of course I will show you the front one as well, because these two would be slightly different, of course. I'm also going to be changing out the motor. This is where we get to the exciting part. I'm going to be changing out the motor. I'm going to be installing my Hobbywing ESC. And I have decided that I'm going to be swapping out the servo. I have a Savox 1256 TG in my Traxxas Slash, which is kind of overkill for that truck. So I'm going to be taking it out of that, putting it in here, and I'll do a bit of a swap. I'll put this one in the Slash because this one I think will be just fine in that truck. Only because I'm not going to be running the stock tires. I've actually got plans to run some Proline tires, and that's why I'm going to be swapping it out, because the aftermarket tires are a little bit heavier than the stock ones. And I figured, hey, if I'm going to swap out motors and ESCs, why not swap out the servo, since I have one that can go in here anyway. All right, enough talking, let's keep working. Okay, center diff, that is what it looks like with the screws off. I haven't opened it yet, so we're going to go have a look, see what it looks like inside. Peeling it off, and there we go. So it does have a little bit of oil in there. It is a little bit thin though, so now I'm going to put 500,000 weight oil in here, and I think it's going to turn out really well, really well, I should say. But of course, I'm going to clean it first, and yeah, we'll come back and I'll show you everything installed, and then I'll pull apart the front diff and show you the inside of that as well, which I think will be very much identical to this one. Alright, so I just thought I'd take a couple of minutes to show you the inner workings of these diffs, because they are quite nice. I like them. I think these are actually very nice, the way that ARRMA have actually put this together. So that's what that one looks like. I'm going to very quickly just put this together for you, just to give you guys a bit of a show at how all this goes together. So have my little gears here, they go in there like so. We then have these little shimmers which will go on the back of those. One at each end, of course, and very quickly these guys will slide in on the back of that. Put that one in there, and this one goes in like so, and that's it. Okay, that's how that goes together. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And now that just slides simply over the top like so, and there we have it, a working diff. So that's how that looks. Not going to bore you filming myself filling this guy up with oil, because well, I've done this sort of thing before on camera. It's really not very exciting, but I did want to show you how this sort of thing, how these diffs, well, at least the center diff anyway, goes together in the ARRMA Kraton, which I'm sure will be the same for the rest of the 1/8 scale ARRMA vehicles. That's it for now. I'm going to put all this together, and I will come back showing you the front diff. Okay, so very quickly I'm going to show you the front diff. Now I've just removed the cover. One of the things I can say about ARRMA is that they've really thought about the design and accessibility of these components, because it does make it very easy to remove both front and rear diffs without having to pull half the truck apart. So there's really only 4 screws here in this little cover. You also need to take out these just to get the sway bar out of the way, and then you can pull the diff clean out. Very simple. So I haven't taken it out yet. We're going to do this live, so you can see it's got a little bit of grease on it and everything else, and we'll just pull this guy out, give you a bit of a quick look at how it comes out of the truck. There is oil in here, but it is very thin, whilst the rear one that I've already done is actually quite difficult to turn, even with 100,000 weight oil in here. This one's very easy to sort of move around. So I'm going to take the screws off just quickly, and then I'll pop the top off and show you what it looks like inside. Alright, so very quickly I'm going to show you the front diff. This is what it looks like. So that is pretty much identical to the center diff as well. Gears are actually in very good condition. I haven't noticed any major wear or any concerns with any of these gears, so pretty happy with this so far. Everything looks in check. So what I'm going to do now is just give this guy a bit of a clean, put my oil in, put everything back together, finish off the truck, and then come back with the big reveal, show you the painted body, show you the electrics already installed and everything else, and yeah, we'll finish off this episode. And just like that, I have another freshly painted body as well as a fully rebuilt ARRMA Kraton. I have to say, I cannot wait to take this guy out to the BMX track and show you how this truck actually performs now and how it goes. I definitely want to get a speed run in before I even trash the body, so that's probably going to be number 1, so that I can get this guy ready for the next RC Speed Week. And then of course I'll take it out and show you how it goes. After having a quick go at the front of my house on 4S, this guy performs very nicely, and on 6S, I have to say that, you know, it's probably the fastest RC that I've ever managed to keep on all 4s, only barely. This definitely gets up and boogies now. I'm very impressed with the power output of this system, which I will show you very soon. But first we're going to talk about the body just a little bit. This body paint work that I've done here is by far the most laborious and time-consuming idea that I've ever could have had for painting up a body, because aside from the cheeky green on the bonnet here, and the ARRMA and YouTube logo on the back, which I'm going to show you quickly, These checkered flags definitely took their toll on time, and it was very, very difficult to do. Or not, let me rephrase that. It wasn't difficult, it was just very time consuming. Just cutting out all of this was about an hour each side, and there was probably another 45 to an hour here on the Kraton. The top one was actually a little bit quicker. That only probably took about 30 minutes. And you can see I've done a bit of an epic fail here. I tried to sort of fade this out into red and it didn't really work, and yeah, it's a mistake. You know, that's messed up. Also, these stripes here on either side, I'm pretty sure that when I started this paintwork I wanted to do these in black, and somehow I managed to peel them off when I was doing the first lot of silver and they came out silver. It doesn't look bad, but I would have preferred these to have been black. I think if I do this again, definitely I'll correct that. The face, you know, when I picked this out, I thought, hey, you know, this is a very simple and easy thing to do. Not really, because, you know, doing round eyes with a X-Acto knife is actually quite tricky to do. And even just the curves around here, the long curve, the smile wasn't actually too hard. It's around the edges here that really gets very tricky and hard to do. And then of course you got your ARRMA symbol and YouTube on the back here, which I think looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Very clean lines on the cutout for the black, so I'm very happy with how that turned out. Definitely very happy with the Kraton on either side. Yeah, I could have done the black on here and definitely either avoided the fade altogether or done that a little bit better. But hey, if you guys want to know how to do fades, don't watch me, go watch Chris from Storm. He's the master of paintwork. So that all worked out very well in the end. I think this is what I used to kind of mark everything out. You can see how I've done Kraton here is kind of backwards. So you print these out backwards, you stick it on the outside of the body, and then of course when you look through it this way, it's actually the right way around. So, and then I have my little smiley face here and the little checker thing. All of this stuff, you know, you find on Google. You just Google, I don't know, racing stripes, or you Google something that comes up, you click on an image and it just takes you to another page, and then you eventually find what you're looking for. The electrics, the 4082 Leopard motor, 2000 kV. This guy definitely packing some heat. I really like this motor, very, very strong. The Hobbywing 150 amp Xerun ESC, bulletproof, can't go wrong with these ESCs. And of course, I'm running my Savox 1256 TG, which has proven its worth in some of my other RCs. And you know, I used it in here as well, and I think it's going to do just fine without any issues at all. I am using a different servo horn to the stock one, purely because I couldn't put the stock one back on. Don't know why. I've seen other people use these servos with the stock servo horn, but for some reason I couldn't fit mine on here. So I had this guy lying around, I fitted it on, it all works fine. I did have to do a slight mod just with the steering arm here, this little servo arm extension. You can see I've got a couple of little spaces just there. I had to put them on because this linkage was actually going to end up being on a bit of an angle, and I wasn't comfortable with that. So straighten that up, put a couple of spaces in there, use an extra long screw to tighten everything in place. It's good to go. So no problems about that. Also introduced a couple of small spaces in behind the body posts here. The reason for that is because I wanted to be able to fit the body and actually pull it away from these little screws on the shock tower here that hold the shocks in place. And where I needed to drill for the body was actually going to cause this to interfere. It wasn't going to work well. So I wanted to push these forward a tad just to pull the body away from the shock tower, and that's why I've done that, because otherwise I would have been drilling in sort of like on an angle here. You can see how this is on a bit of an angle. I would have been drilling half the hole into that, and I didn't want to do that. So all in all, it's all pretty good. I think it turned out nice. You know, it's a very unique look. The red definitely matches the red anodized aluminium shocks and braces and so forth that ARRMA used throughout their vehicles, which is the reason why I picked this color as the main color. And I think it's worked out pretty well. But I think I'm going to leave it here, guys. Enough about this one. I know that you're all dying to see a running video, So I'm going to ask Mother Nature to clear up the skies for me and make sure that the BMX track is ready for another bash video very soon, so that you guys can see this up and running and really kicking some butt. So yeah, that is it from me. Please be sure to hit the like button before you go if you like the video. Of course, don't forget to check out the video description for more information on the truck, as well as unboxing links and review links. There'll also be links in there for the ARRMA website if you want more information on the Kraton, and there'll also be a link in there for my Facebook page as well. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time.